Well, so you're welcome back from the break, and I am privileged to have the Chief Executive Officer of NEIP, Mr. Kofi Ofosu Nkansa, here in the studio. Good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure it's been a heavy day for you.
Yeah. But it's good. I mean, opportunities for the young people of Ghana, they've been waiting for some time. And it's good to know finally we've launched and the youth can now take advantage, participate and get grants to start their business or grow.
So I am happy about the things you said to us the last time we met. You took us through the program, the YouStart, and the vision of the President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to create a minimum of 1 million jobs through entrepreneurship and so on and so forth. We have some data on the statistics of unemployment in the country, which is the basis for which they are doing the YouStart program. We want to see that, and we'll come back to see you. So that's about 1.74 million, 13.4% of the total working population of 13 million from 15 years and above in the first quarter of 2022 were unemployed. This is according to the Ghana Statistical Service. Unemployment rates rose from 13.4 to 13.9%, 1.8 million people in the second quarter. Unemployment increased by 0.5 percentage points between quarter 1, 13.4, and the 13.9 in quarter 2 of 2022. JSS says so. And I bet you government has been doing so much to mitigate the menace of unemployment. And if you do development economics, you realize that one of the key areas to look into is entrepreneurship. And we are happy to have the CEO here. Today they had a program, the launch of the YouStart. I would allow him to flow and show us how we can benefit from this program, what the program is about, what it is that we should look out for, and how we can benefit.
All right. So, as you know, the portal has been launched, www.gea.gov.gh/YouStartGSDP. Then you can go from there. So the GJSP, actually, YouStart GJSP. That is Ghana Jobs and Skills Program. So once you go online, you can connect from that website and then you see the requirements. We also have manual forms in the various BRCs across the country, the business advisory centers and the district assembly. So those who are not comfortable with the online forms can also go there. And the qualification is very simple. It's basic. You only need to be a Ghanaian youth aged between 18 and 40 years. A minimum qualification of BEC, the Basic Education Certificate Examination. And almost all business types qualify. Agribusiness, agro-processing, trade and commerce, education, fashion and beauty, health and pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, services, tourism, hospitality, housing and construction, technology, and what have you. The portal was open today, and it will close on the 26th of December. So we have 6 weeks within which when you go online, these are some of the questions you will see, then answer. Whether you've had any training or entrepreneurship training before, the type of business you need support for, you talk about your business idea, and what you will do with the funds that you receive. It is these questions which will help the panel of judges, select the top businesses, those which will be commercially viable, so that we will not just be throwing the money away. And then this program will be localized. So we are going to have the training in all the various districts and communities, so that if you are in my constituency, Konomo, you wouldn't have to go to Konomo or come to Accra for the training. It's going to be decentralized and localized as much as possible. The training has been divided into 3. There is a basic training, which is going to take about 5 days. And then there is the intermediate, which will take 10 days. And then the advanced training will take 15 days. So maximum 15 days of entrepreneurship training. And we are going to select the best out of the 50,000 that we are going to train to give them the grants. And we also select mentors and coaches, people who have experience and have done business and have been successful, so that they will guide the youth through this entrepreneurship training and grants process. We are going to support them to do their business plans. We are also going to connect them to markets. Market access is very, very important. We are going to help them do business formalization, and that has to do with regulatory compliance, quality assurance support. We are also going to help them test their products to ensure that they are ready for market. So that is where the Ghana Standards Authority and the FDA will come in, and the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program and the Ghana Enterprise Agency, which are the two implementing agencies, have very good relationship with them, and we've been doing programs with them already. So that relationship is there. And then you can also use the grant for working capital, to inject liquidity into your business. Whether you want to pay the wages of your staff, whether you want to buy materials, any tools, equipment, machinery, any startup case that you want to buy to do your business. So this is very flexible because we are targeting the youth who don't have anything to do. So it's not like the other grant programs where you would have to have a business certificate, business registration, must be operating the business for a number of years before you qualify. This is open to all. All what you need is your basic education certificate, and then you should age between 18 and 40. And what is good about this phase of the program, that it is a grant. And that means that the youth are not going to pay back. So the president is giving us that background, that platform to build on. Your business is going to be nurtured, you are going to be trained, and then when you take off, you graduate, and then you can take bigger facilities. So as you know, all this is being done to create alternative employment opportunities for the youth. Because we don't have enough vacancies in the formal sector, especially on government payroll, to absorb the hundreds and thousands of graduates who come out of universities each year and tertiary institutions each year. So this is a way of telling the youth that it is not only the formal sector that you can make it, but if you want to create wealth, if you want to create millionaires, if you want to create people who can also become job owners to create opportunities for others, then the entrepreneurship is the way to go. I have not seen any rich person, who is on salary or wages. All the rich people in the world are people who started their own business. When you are starting, it's difficult. But when you make it to, you become big, and you can also bring others along. And it is also to help address our import substitution challenge. We have issue with importation of basic products. Recently, the president spoke about products like rice, vegetable oil, poultry, pasta, toothpick, fruit juice, bottled water, and others, which we still import. We have to look for foreign exchange to import them. We think if you focus on some of these products, it will help us to create opportunities locally, and also help us show up our foreign exchange reserve, and then save our city. We all know what happened to the city recently. It's all because of the mass importation of almost all the products and services that we consume as a nation. When China started their manufacturing journey, it was difficult for them. They did not relent, and gradually they become a manufacturing powerhouse globally. And when we all want to import stuff, we go to China to do that. That is what this government intends doing, and that is why our industrialization agenda and the support for the private sector to stimulate it, to provide the managerial jobs, has been tiered. There's Development Bank Ghana at the top, which is going to provide patient capital for the big industrialists, and then below that we have programs like YouStart, which is dealing with startups and SMEs and the micro enterprises, so that they can also get enough support to take off, to support their businesses. So it is a holistic program. We have the likes of SM and other government banks too, which give very good raise to businesses for them to thrive. So this is just the beginning. This is just phase one. We are going to go through several phases. As you know, YouStart has three models. We have the district entrepreneurship program, we have the commercial program, and then we have the YouStart Grades, which is the phase-based one. We are starting with the district entrepreneurship program because a chunk of the youth who are unemployed are there. When you look at the unemployment statistics, majority of those who don't have jobs yet are from 20 years upwards, to their 30s. That is why the age bracket we are using is 18 to 40 years. Once we deal with them,
it was a question I was going to ask, because when we talk about the youth, especially in Ghana, we refer to 18 to 35. And you have extended it to 40 years.
Yeah. Because it's not everybody, who got opportunity to get a job in their early 20s or mid 20s. So some may be 40, and may still not get opportunity. So even though the youth policy defines the youth age bracket to be 35. We've extended it to 40 years for the YouStart program, and we think within that bracket we can cover most of the people who are in need. And this is not just based on guesswork, but it's based on data from the Ghana Statistical Services, the census they did, the data on labor, and those who have jobs and those who don't have jobs and all that. That is what is informing it. So we believe that is where the challenges are most, the unemployment challenge that we are all dealing with. That is where most of it are. So once we start it, we face it, we go to phase 2 and other subsequent phases, and we'll be able to get support for those who will come on board the commercial model, which will be medium to large scale enterprises who employ a lot of people, and they will take commercial rates from the bank, and the same YouStart to be able to expand their business, get machinery, support, whether it is BDS they want, whether it is working capital, whether they also want regulatory compliance support, or even market access. All these are supports that are going to cut across all the 3 models of the YouStart program.
So let me take you back to the basics. With all that you have explained, if anybody hears YouStart today, YouStart is 3 things. If I got it right, you may correct me. That it's a government support program to young people in Ghana between ages of 18 and 35. That's 1. 2, it is going to train 50,000 people, young people. I will ask you, between how many years will this training happen? And then 3, you will support the best that come out of this training with capital in whichever sectors they are, to be able to thrive, either to pay their workers or to grow their business or to start new businesses. Is that the case?
Exactly the case. So the training is going to take maximum 15 days.
15 days. Beginning when?
Once we are done with the onboarding, the applicants have 6 weeks within which to apply. The portal will close on the 26th of December.
Yes, 26th of December.
Yes, so after the portal is closed, and we start with the training towards basic level. We do that for 5 days, and then out of the 50,000 number, half of them will transition to the intermediate. Additional 5 days of training. And then after the intermediate training, another half will transition into the advanced to do the last 5 days of training. But for those who have businesses already, they will terminate at advanced, because if you have some vocational skills, you have some skills in plumbing work, you have some skills in electrical work, you have some skills in trading, then it means that you have acquired the skills already, so you don't need a technical training. What we will add is a business development training, which is the soft skills that you need, the financial management, the communication, how to enter market, and those other skills. That is what we add. So for them, they will terminate at the intermediate stage, then they can access the grant. But for those who have ideas and are now coming to translate their ideas into businesses, they go through the entire
process
15
from the beginning,
period,
from the training
from basic through intermediate to advanced, to be able to qualify to access the grant. So it is after the training that the panel of judges will go through the forms, what you put on your form, how you describe your business, the job creation potential, where it is located, the inputs you are going to use. So that is where you prove the commercial viability of the business. Based on your performance at the training, to put all this together to select the topmost participants, and then those are the ones who are going to get the grant. So I will encourage the youth. I use this opportunity to encourage all the applicants to take the training very seriously, also to take the filling of the form seriously, because that is what the selection is going to be based on. So if you just put something on paper and you don't convince the judges who are going to do the selection, it means that. And let me also add that if you miss out, doesn't mean that's the end of the world, because the target of YouStart is to create as many as 1 million jobs.
1 million jobs.
Yes, this is just the first phase, and this first phase is a grant program, which is going to support some thousands of youth. After that, there will be other grants in future programs. The World Bank has made commitment to support us with additional funds.
So how much are you starting with? You have brought in this question that I was going to reserve for the last minute. World Bank has promised to support, but how much is government of Ghana starting
So this
with?
phase, This phase is about half a billion Ghana cedis.
500 million Ghana
Yeah,
cedis.
for the first phase. And then the other phases which will follow would also have different funding arrangements. So some multilateral partners, when it comes to the commercial model, to the banks will also be contributing to the counterpart funding arrangement with the banks. So let me also assure the young people of Ghana that when it comes to YouStart, the monies have been ring-fenced. It is a priority of government. It's a priority of President Akufo-Addo because he wants to solve the unemployment.
When will you start the money disbursement?
After going through
The
processes, I'm sure from early next year.
By February or March 2023, we should see people receiving money.
First quarter of next year, it should happen. By that time, we would have finished the 15 days of training, the disbursement.
Will the amount of money you are giving be dependent on the kind of business I'm presenting, or you have a cut-off point of the monies that you are giving to each individual?
Exactly. So you can use the money for regulatory or compliance support. So if you tell us that is what you want to use the money for, we will do our checks and see how much. If it is so below, you are going to register at FDA or Standards Authority. We can find out how much you need to do that. If you tell us you need a setup kit, you are a business person, you are doing agro processing, and you need some tools to do your agro processing business. What you listed, we will check it on the market and we will know how much you need to do that.
If a hospital, maybe a clinic owned by an individual, has been hit by COVID and is not able to operate anymore, not able to pay the staff, does he qualify?
So we had some other programs. GEA recently rolled out the COVID-19 grant program. They give bigger amounts, to help revive enterprises like this hospital business that you are. We encourage those businesses to, take advantage of those programs. And then the TVET service, the Commission for TVET also had another program. They also have a $60 million fund for something like that. We encourage those businesses to go. But this is targeted at the youth, the startups, those who are now coming to, start their businesses. They want something to do. They've been home after school. They don't have anything in the year now. And they need basic tools and equipment to do these businesses. They need simple processes. They need 5,000 cedis, 20,000 cedis. 30,000 cedis and the like to start something. I met I have my barber in Dansoman. He just started his own business, and when I asked him how much he used, the setup, the container, and all the tools and equipment, he used just 8,000 cedis.
Oh, to set up the barbering shop.
To set up the barbering shop, to buy all the machines.
He would have been home without that money.
Yes. So the 8,000 cedis, he has a business. He has also employed people who are supporting him, and every month he's going to earn some income. This is what we are looking at, for this phase of the YouStart. That the youth who are home and they don't have anything to do now should take advantage of this. They should scout around their environment, look at what will be commercially viable there, what will work for them there, what is cost effective, what will not be too expensive to start, because they are now going to start, so we cannot afford to give them huge amounts. The risk is high.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean government will also fold, her hands.
I was going to ask you, you are going in there, the monitoring and evaluation of the monies that you give. How are you going to monitor them?
YouStart has a very robust governance structure. There's an interministerial committee at the apex of the governance structure. Below that, there's a steering committee made up of the implementing partners, including the participating financial institutions. And then there's a YouStart committee, which is headed by the Deputy Minister of Finance responsible for wealth creation, Honorable John Kuma. Below that, then we have the participating banks and then the implementation agency. So there's going to be periodic reporting to ensure that we are getting data based on the various clusters that we've done within the communities, the various districts, what is happening. And then on the ground too, we are going to engage mentors, coaches, and consultants, who will be on the youth, go to their businesses, go to their offices to inspect what they are doing, to ensure that they are using the monies for the purposes for which
value for money.
The money is there, value for money. And then we are also going to buy equipment for some of them and inputs instead of giving them the money.
Right.
To ensure that those inputs and equipment and tools
will
go directly into those businesses. So we think with such structures, collaboration and participation of the local authorities, We've collaborated with the Ministry of Local Government, the MMDs are on board. We've even engaged community leaders. We engaged the likes of the Ghana Startups Network, the Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs, and all of them are helping us with the groundwork to ensure that their members who come on board are using the monies for the purposes for which they took them. We think with such a robust and complete monitoring structure, we're able to get, results, and we will not just be throwing money away. So that at the end of the 2-year period, we can point to successful businesses which have been seeded and nurtured from the support that we gave them. And it's going to be inclusive too. We are going to every region, we are going to every district, and the inclusion also.
So you are not starting with, for example, Greater Accra, and then later
it's
on.
It's being rolled out
at the same time everywhere in the country.
Every district. If you go to the district assemblies, you can get your manual.
I have too many questions.
Yeah.
And some are suggestions coming my way. Anytime you come into the studio, I get too many of them. But let me see if I can read maximum, say 5, and then I would allow you to round up. It says one says, and please add your name when you are sending. As you can see, this is how a good president, I'm sure you want to say president, should be doing to wrong appointees, but other presidents were not doing as His Excellency, the President Akufo-Addo has done. Good evening, sir. Please, I'm Yabua from Ashanti, Jabin. Please ask CEO, 2019 second batch of nurses are still at home. When are they going to employ us? Yes, and someone wants the website address again. I'm sure producers will put the website address on the screen before we end the program. So, Chief, we'll come back to you to mention again. This one says he's the National Secretary for Coalition for NAPCO trainees. NAPCO trainees have not been paid for the past 10 months, yet we're told we should take the opportunity for YouStart. What is the assurance that we, the NAPCO trainees, will be considered? Besides, the CEO mentioned that before you qualify, you should have business certificates. Besides, we have also not been trained on even how to set up our own business. We NAPCO trainees should be paid as soon as possible. I agree that they should be paid, but he's talked extensively about training, and so all you need to do is to apply, and you'll go through all the stages even before you qualify for any amount of money. So the rest of the questions I would allow him to answer. Hi, good evening. I'm Alexander, watching from Takoradi. I went to the YouStart site since morning. When you click on apply, nothing shows. I want to find out if it's a technical challenge. Of course, you know that on a day like this, you would have too many inflows to the website. So kindly keep checking. I'm sure you would have it sorted out. Nana Okuamwa Boatin, Ablikuma Central, aka Dr. Baumia is coming, says, good evening, Akwesi. The YouStart is a very solid initiative which sought to promote entrepreneurship skills, and I think it is a very laudable initiative. Kofi Nkansa Ofusu is a solid brain who is going to implement this initiative with an eye on the youth. Kudos, Mr. Kofi Nkansa, for launching this initiative. Nana Okuamwa Boatin, Ablikuma Central. Good evening, please ask the CEO, if I apply for Youth in Agriculture program and was sent a message that the date for training will be communicated to me, but since then I've not heard of any info again. What should I do? Today has been the launch. You are lucky to have received the message even before the launch of the program. Please do hope that they will call you and then you will proceed. Good evening. Please ask the CEO. Okay, I've read this already. Please ask CEO when disbursement will be made. I've asked that already. Good evening. I'm from Pong. My question is, NPP government is owing NAPCO trainees a lot and even promised them to employ them permanently. You couldn't even pay 700 Ghana cedis a month. How much more? 10,000 Ghana cedis, and over to start a business campaign. Good evening. Please ask him why do they say they are supporting NAPCO trainees with YouStart, and now they are asking people to apply for it. I am surprised, and I want to ask you back whether you don't want to apply for the program. As for the application questions, I'll jump them when I see them again. Please, my name is Vuri Anthony from Upper West Region. I completed university but unemployed, but I'm a computer literate. Please ask, can they help me establish a cafe center in the Upper East Region? There are too many messages. Unfortunately, my time is running up. Chief, let me allow you to answer the questions and then you give us your final words. And of course, the website. People are interested in the website.
So the website, once again, is www.gea.gov.gh/YouStartGJSP. That is YouStart, Ghana Skills and Jobs Project. So G for Ghana, J for Jobs, S for Skills, and P for Project. Start is YOUSTART.
So www.gea.gov.gh/YouStart JJSP.
That is it.
And then you are there.
Yeah.
Right. But if anybody Googles and then follows the processes too, it will take you to the portal.
Right. Just go on the GEA website and you find the link there.
Yes, Chief. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I want to assure the youth that this money is available. They shouldn't compare this to other programs.
Yes, you said it's been ring-fenced.
Yes. They shouldn't compare this to other programs like NAPCO and others, which have had issues. There are different sources of funding for these programs. This is a government priority. The other programs were important, but they were also important, but they had their own challenges. So the fact that there were some NAPCO areas doesn't mean that government doesn't have money to implement YouStart. So don't sit and say that because there are challenges and there's been some programs with certain issues, I'm not going to apply. It is, deceit that they are going to deceive us. They are going to deceive us, deceit as usual, so I'm not going to apply.
We are running out of time, but someone says in the district assembly, do you have offices there, or which office should the person go? Oswell sent in that one.
Yeah, so they should go to the BRCs, the Business Resource Centers, the Business Advisory Center. They are all linked to the district assembly. Or even we from tomorrow we'll be deploying some at the various YEA offices too. We have YEA offices across almost all
every district in the country. So either the BRCs, BACs, or the Youth Employment Agency offices, and you are going to right.
They will get copies of the manual forms and take advantage of them.
You are going to send the manual there every district.
Yeah, and let me say once again that it is not possible to satisfy all the 18 to 40-year-old youth in the country currently in this first phase. That is why the program has been phased. So go online, apply, and then expect the training and then the grant. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean that is the end of the world. It means that other phases will come and you can also take advantage of those phases. So take advantage of it and then prove a point. And then in future, you can say that when YouStart, was launched during President Kufuor's time, that is when I started my business. And you could also be counted in future as one of the unicorns which came out from the YouStart support. The Spice and the Zoom Lions and the McDonald's, all the big businesses we have in the country started somewhere in today. They are big. So you can also be the future McDonald's or Zoom Lion. So
I want to also be the future, even more than McDonald's, more than Zoom Lion, more than Despite, and so on and so forth. And so I am going to apply as well. If you are interested, please stop asking the questions of whether you should apply and you were part of NAPCO and so you don't need to apply and so on and so forth. So far as you want to be part of this, you should apply. From here, I am going to apply and I'm going to go through the rigorous process of getting selected and then maybe contribute my quota to the country. www.gea.gov.gh/YouStart JJSP, and then you are on the portal to apply. If you have any challenge, manuals are going to be sent to every YEA district office, every BSC, and every business resource centers. I've been here with the Chief Executive of the National Entrepreneurship Innovation Program, Mr. Kofi Ofosu Nkansa. Thank you very much for your time this evening, Chief.
Thank you.
And of course, thank you very much for your time and for sending us your messages. I acknowledge the rest of the messages that I couldn't read. Good evening to you all.